Unqualified as Fuck is the ultimate podcast for anyone hustling to find happiness in this crazy world. Whether you're deep in a relationship, stuck in a situationship, heartbroken, or just feeling lost, we've got your back.
Join us as we share our own experiences and guide you on your journey of self-awareness and elevation.
We're committed to offering diverse perspectives because we understand that there's more than one way to get shit done.
By the way, we're with the shits.
So tap in, get lit,
and let's get to the bag. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of the Unqualified as Fuck podcast. I am your host, Azar Faraday. This is my co-host. He got the chest out. Listen, baby, he been in the gym.
Chesticles.
I'm opulent.
You know me from the 90s.
Good morning in Bangkok.
Okay.
Why been Bangkok this time?
And my lovely, sexy co-host, Jenny B. Thick.
Hey.
So today we're going to talk about this video that's been going viral on the internet, right? And I saw this video and was like, what the hell is going on here? So there's a woman, she's getting married, and she's getting married to a man who obviously seems like he has money and stuff because he hired like a very famous Nigerian gospel singer, and the wedding looks very extravagant and beautiful. And so as the gospel singer is singing, y'all, the wife goes over to him, bends down on her knees, and hugs him at his hips. So her head is essentially in his private area, in his crotch.
Yeah.
And at first, when you watch the video, you're thinking like, is this her husband singing to her?
I thought that.
I thought that because I'm not familiar with the singer. And you watch it and you proceed to see the husband come over to her, and he's looking mad uncomfortable. He looks like, well, what the fuck is going on here? But he's trying to keep it cool because he's like, all right, whatever. Then the wife stands up and she starts hugging him and embracing the singer even more. And he's embracing her, and the husband kind of has his hand on her a little bit like, you know, he wants her to move, you can tell, because it's uncomfortable. But she doesn't move, and she's just booed up with this man at this point. And you can clearly see the uncomfortableness in her husband. Someone straight up said she's trying to fuck him to get closer to the Lord. Now, that is crazy.
That is wild.
And they say anything on the internet. But, you know, I do feel like that video was mad disrespectful. I saw that, and I was like, I bet you he's like, why did I marry this whore?
I hope he's not.
He probably wasn't, but that's what I would be thinking. Because it's like, and someone said in the comments, as a fangirl, I completely understand this, right? Number one, I'm not a fan of anyone. Let's start there. But secondly, I don't care.
Yeah, you can't be that much of a fan to disrespect your husband.
You're a grown-ass woman. He paid this man to come do your songs.
Yeah.
And you're over here hugging this man at the crotch?
Mm-hmm. And someone said if his parents were down, what would be in her face?
Like
I don't know the whole situation. I don't know who this gospel singer is, but I definitely was like, you should never, like, she literally picked up her dress, tucked it out of her way, ran down, fell at his feet, and like hugged him. Like, so that's the only thing I have an issue with. Barring everything else, your man's right there. The man you just married is right there. Like, I can't understand. There's nothing in me that can understand making your man feel disrespected. Are emasculated at that, and he's over there trying to, and you're not paying attention to the signs of him being like, that's enough. I don't know. I ain't gonna be able to do it, but
you're not wrong.
Six, what you think? I don't know. Have you seen it? You saw it, right?
Yeah, I saw it before y'all sent it to me in a group chat. I didn't really, I don't have words. I was kind of flabbergasted, like, yo, that's crazy, but I can't relate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't relate. I've never, first of all, I like my women mean.
Yeah, you did say that, yeah.
I like my women mean and unfriendly.
Most men do.
So I wouldn't even, I don't even know what to say. Y'all have to see the video. I've never dealt with that before. First of all, I'm never gonna, I only date women who absolutely adore and obsess over me. And I think we all should. I don't know what it feels like to be with a woman who's not obsessed with me.
Right.
I don't know what it feels like to be with a woman who's not like, oh my God, the way she feel for the gospel singer is how the women I'm with fall and be all over. I don't know. No, it's foreign to be with somebody who's lukewarm. Like, hey, yeah, he cool. And again, if you obsess over me, you can't obsess over anyone else. Those
Right.
traits probably was there before that.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
And that he
I know
did
some
that for
coup-
her, like
Some couples will be like, yo, you know, like, hey, babe, look at her. She fine. Yeah, she fine. Look at him. He's so sexy. Yeah, that's your type. I don't
like
do that.
I don't do that.
I don't do that. Like, I don't. My woman, my wife,
we don't play them games.
when I had a girlfriend, when I was just talking to somebody, I never had that kind of relationship with any woman in my life, whether we was just talking, whether we boyfriend or girlfriend. My wife ain't finna come tell. Now and again, I'm sure she has eyes and see other men who might be slightly as attractive as me. They might have a fraction.
A fraction.
They might have a fraction, but
Okay.
I don't need to know about it. We don't discuss that.
I
Like,
agree.
she don't have to come and tell me. I don't need to know that information. And if it was a woman that felt the need to be like, oh, he's sexy too, woo, cool. She wouldn't even pass go. That relationship would be DOA. It would dead on arrival.
Can you get into why? Like, I feel like women may not understand necessarily like the visceral impact of what that means to a man. Like, why was that so like such a strong like thing that you needed to have?
No, that's a great question. No man wants another man to have that kind of power over his woman.
Okay.
No man, like
that's a fact.
That's outrageous for that man to
Even
have
if it's
that kind of
God?
power. She dropped to her knees
She
for
did.
him. That is outrageous for another man to have that kind of power over your woman.
I agree.
It's outrageous.
And you know what's crazy is my ex told me one time that he was like, you're funny because you don't ever want a girl to ever be able to feel like they can have what you have. That's why you be mad. And I'm like, 100%. You're right. That's why I be mad. Because how am I sitting here? And like, even when I'm out, have you ever been out, Jen? And you're out and you see a man with his girl, but the man is looking at you?
Yeah.
I was at the gym the other day and that happened.
And
I was
I don't like
disgusted.
that. Yeah, I don't
was
like
like, nigga, like
Who
why-
hooks up with the guy that does that?
Yeah, many of women. And
Why?
also, who knows?
Some relationships, they do that together, or they at least pretend they okay with it so they can keep an eye on who he likes. I'm gonna pretend to be okay with it so I can see all the women you like.
That means you don't
But
trust him. There's
a lot of
nother
people in
level.
relationships that they don't trust. Like, what are you talking about?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
That's
common.
true. Yeah,
That's
that's very
common.
common.
That's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's true. Which is unfortunate because I'm still trying to figure out why these people are together.
Well, because they're afraid to be alone. Because they rather be with someone they don't trust than to be alone with their thoughts.
I like being alone with my thoughts.
But that's you. But you know how many people would rather stay in a relationship that's not serving them than face the reality of just being alone? People don't like themselves. And when you don't like yourself, you're going to distract yourself with every single thing that you can.
Yeah.
We don't know why they're in relationships with people they don't trust. It could be a trauma bond.
Yeah.
It could be a nostalgic bond.
It could be a twin flame.
But what do you think? I mean,
I saw that too.
a twin flame? I've
You-
never looked
that
into
Netflix that documentary.
What is it?
Oh, we'll talk about it later. Oh, it was really good.
It was called Twin Flame?
Uh-huh.
Did y'all see the Netflix documentary called The Program? Because that's the
Mm-mm.
program I was in that I was in a cult.
I think I did see it. I watch a lot of I watch documentaries more than I watch anything on all kind of stuff. I like docs.
Mhm.
You look like you like docs, sir.
Wow.
That was funny, Jen. Y'all both.
Like, we be having one episode that be just so damn
ridiculously
stupid.
all over the place.
Yeah, like, and we don't even end
So-
up dropping some of these. Okay,
Okay.
go.
No, this was gonna drop because it's crazy.
So,
It's the... Keep going.
what were we saying? Okay. Now I cannot.
It's not
well, I will go
all.
back to what I was saying.
Yeah,
then.
go back to what you were saying.
What
'Cause
I,
did you fully answer the question
This
that I
is
was
what
asking?
I love, though.
I did.
Okay, let's get serious, you guys. This is ridiculous. People, who wants to watch this?
I don't know. Nobody.
Like, honestly.
This is what
I
I
was talking about the respect factor.
Well, men don't make a difference between respect and love. We conflate the two.
Okay.
So when you say respect, if you don't respect us, we automatically feel and know you don't love us. You can't be one without the other. And if we had a preference, we would prefer respect over love, but it's one and the same. There is no
Respect
love.
is love.
Yeah, there is no love without respect. and the way she dropped to her knees for that man was egregious, disgusting, despicable, and disrespectful.
Say it again.
Disgusting, egregious, despicable, disrespectful.
Woo.
And so another part of that video that makes me wonder, because again, I don't know the relationship, I don't know the premise of their setup, I know nothing about these people. So let me just get that out there. But the person that I saw that had reposted it had added their 2 cents to it and said, this is why men should not lead with money. He was like, look at this man. Look at the wedding that he planned. He had bodyguards all around him. He obviously hired this person. And this is why men should not lead with money. And this may lead into something that we've kind of talked about before, because you've obviously said if a man leads with his money, she falls in love with your hand and not your heart.
Yeah.
But how is like, why do you think that person said that? Like, not that you could get in his head, but like, where do you understand?
Well, a lot of times men use money to lure the woman they want in.
But in
But that doesn't mean that, so you cannot, but wait, listen, let me finish. A lot of times, and we'll land the plane for you, a lot of times men use money to lure in the woman they want, but she will fall in love with your hand and not your heart. You cannot buy attraction. Either she's into you or she ain't. Right. The difference is you're supposed to spend your money on a woman who loves you, not spend your money to get a woman to love you.
Ooh. That's a bar.
You get what I'm saying? So don't try to impress her, play broke, and test her, see where she at. So the guy at the wedding, as they were saying, he spent all his money on the wedding, got bodyguards, hired the singer he knows she liked, and then she threw herself at him. And if she had respect for him, she would never threw herself at that man's foot, grabbed his legs.
Ugh.
She would have never done that. And if y'all haven't seen the video, just go, whatever you got to Google and hashtag, it should come up.
We'll
but that shows that the level of respect that a wife should have for a husband was absent in that moment. It might be absent in the whole relationship. I don't know. I'm not part of the relationship. But I know for sure the respect that a wife is supposed to have for her husband and her vows was absent in that moment. You do not throw I would have picked her up.
Yeah.
Literally like this, like the Whitney Houston, the bodyguard. If you don't get your ass up,
you were embarrassed.
I ain't finna make a big old scene in front of all these people, but there will be an annulment tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Hello. That's what I'm asking. That's was going to be my next question.
Yeah, no, there will be an annulment tomorrow morning.
Even if there wasn't going to be, I think that video going viral, and we all know how the internet is, that's going to fuck him up mentally. Because
he was already
fucked. But I'm saying, that's going to add to the fire.
You know that people had the nerve to say, well, if it was a woman singing, it'd be different.
But wait, women disrespect men in a lot of ways that sometimes y'all don't know that a man feel disrespected.
I love this.
Yeah.
Go into
That's
it.
True.
Go
when
into
you
it.
when
Speak
you
on it.
when you correct your man in front of a room full of people,
why would you?
You just disrespected him, emasculated him, and shrank him as a man.
Ooh,
and he might not say nothing. He might not even have the words, or he might be smart enough to not make a bigger scene. But you do not never do that, and that's one of the things I've seen women do. And I'm like, it makes everybody else. It makes everybody else with the high IQ, intellectual and emotional IQ. It makes us uncomfortable. When we see you do that. When you talk to your man crazy or use a certain tonality to speak with him, it makes men and women with a certain intellectual and emotional IQ, it makes us uncomfortable.
Right. Remember when we were all at the hookah and me and you both noticed the couple to our right?
Right. Oh man, it was.
I don't even know what they were talking about, and it didn't even matter.
Oh, when we were all at the hookah,
The way that she was talking, even though we could not hear what she was saying, it was obvious that she was degrading him
in front of other people.
Yeah, because she was like, even with her body language.
Yes.
Even point. That's why when you point, I push your hand, even though we just be shooting the shit. But I'm not used to that. Like, ain't no woman, don't point it like that ain't, that's that. But when women who do that, without knowing most of the time, a man doesn't feel respected.
And you know what else is crazy? So I was dating someone, and you know how I am, y'all. I'm a very inviting, friendly person. And earlier you're like, I like mean, unfriendly women, and
mean to everybody else. Don't be
not
mean to me.
you.
Yeah.
I'm saying my problem is for so long I've always been this like loving, friendly therapist type of person, and I just told myself this the other day, like, bitch, you're gonna have to buck up and be mean because you're too friendly. And I remember in my last situationship, whatever the hell you want to call it, I remember he had told me like, you. And he's like, and I know you. So I know you're not doing it in a malicious, weird way. You're not, because I know your personality and I know how genuine you are. But it makes me want to snap when you be talking to these niggas. Like, why do you need to know what their rising sign is? Why do you know that they were born at 12 a.m.?
I can see him feeling like that, and I think it's valid. One of the things,
too.
I remember, so for those of y'all that don't know, Doja Cat was one of my clients. So back when Doja Cat was one of my clients, she had was it a Grammy party or a Billboard party? She won a Billboard. I think it was the Billboard. And we was at her Billboard party, and I took my wife. And we was there, everybody there. I believe The Weeknd was there, Ty Dolla. There was a bunch of people there. We there. And I'm roaming around doing my thing, but I don't keep my wife on the chain so she's not tethered to me. I don't let her be alone for 15, 20 minutes by herself, but she's not always tethered to me because I'm just moving around and I know a lot of people. But anyway, one of the guys that I met from there, like maybe like a year later, flew back out here like, yo, I'm out here, let's go work out. We was working out and he was like, you know what I really respect about you, man? He was like, when we was at that party, your wife was there, and when you was moving around and having to network, I didn't see her in no nigga face. If a nigga spoke to her, she nodded and turned her head. Like, he was like, that said a whole lot about you. And he was like, I peeped that. She wasn't starstruck. She wasn't trying to be in nobody's conversation. When somebody spoke, she was kind of polite, but shut it down quick. And he was like, and this is what he came in, this is like a year later. I didn't even pay no attention to it because I'm not worried how she's gonna act. Matter of fact, a man will test you to see how you gonna act. That first event, ladies, that first little kick it, that first little powwow is a test. Let me see how you gonna act in an environment. Because before he take you to where it's public eye and it's cameras and it's finna get serious, he wanna know how you gonna be. And if my wife was any other kind of way, she couldn't have been my wife. She couldn't even be my girl. You get what I'm saying? Because again, a lot of men find it disrespectful for his woman to be keying in another man's face, especially if it's an elongated conversation.
Yeah.
Like, he might not say nothing. It might be innocuous. Oh, today's word, brought to you by Opulent 6, is innocuous. That is the word of the day. We just start doing this word of the day thing. It comes natural. So look it up. Innocuous. So what you're doing might be innocuous, but most men is not going to like that. They don't want to even make a man feel like he got action. Yeah. He might not got action, but men will feel like, oh, I got action. Look how long she was talking to me. Look, she don't show no another nigga your teeth. Why you smiling all up in this man's face?
So what does that say? Because I think we were supposed to have this series of not series, but a conversation around what women say, what men hear, and vice versa. Because I was in a situation like that, and the fool had no justification for how I was acting that day. We were broken up, not together, but there was a time where he would never let that go. Like, you sat and talked to that man and was in his face smiling all night. And I'm
and let me tell you this.
You ain't even got the right to say nothing to me. But the way that it makes more sense, the way a man actually.
Wow, Jen.
Because let me tell you
I didn't even know you was a disrespectful little twat.
I was
like
22.
Don't do her.
First of all. It was 20 years ago.
Wow.
No, let me tell you
I was just how do you even...
Why someone said Ike Turner? Let me tell you.
What?
I'm screaming. Okay, so wait, let me say
I
this.
Forgot she was live. They said Ike Turner.
I have a similar situation.
Wait, they not gonna need to watch the episode of you gonna
live. Don't do the whole thing.
Live the whole thing.
No,
catch the rest later.
Because we're gonna start doing. If you guys like when we do lives, we're gonna start doing subscriptions. You're gonna have to pay to see the live episode. Oh. This is what it is. So this is gonna be a sneak.
But I want them to watch the whole. They said Ike Turner. But go. Let Jen finish what she was saying.
No, I think that was basically that was it. I was just how do you even have the audacity to be concerned about? We are not even together.
But it's just that
he never.
Y'all are together. How did y'all get there?
Separately.
Huh?
Separately. We just happened to be at the same party.
Y'all happened to be at
Yes.
the same. When was the last time y'all had sex?
I don't know. We talking 20 years ago.
All right, but can you remember? Was it within a year?
Whatever it was tumultuous.
Was it less than a year or a year?
I could only surmise. I don't know.
Was it less than
He
a year?
was out of his right.
No, he wasn't. Because if y'all
How
had
was
sex
he not?
within that last year, that's still his. The reason he
That's
still
not
got
a whole
yeah,
year.
he still got penis residue up inside of there. His penis residue is still
He's not
inside your
lying.
vagina.
That shit's still his.
Yes, his penis residue
year later,
is still in your vagina.
I feel residue.
A year later.
I feel residue right now.
Baby,
and I
you
ain't
need to
had
go
sex
take a
all
shower.
year.
You need to, baby.
Oh,
you
now
need to
she
go
didn't
shower.
take a shower.
Baby, you still got,
I haven't had sex all year, y'all.
and you still
It's
got
only
residue,
March,
baby. You
baby.
need a
But I
mic.
haven't had sex.
You acting like it's
past that.
August.
I haven't
It's
had
only
sex past
March.
that.
She
But
said
let
it's
me
only
say this.
March.
I had a similar situation where I went out, not with this man, and this man is not my man.
He was not my man.
Yeah. And I never had sex with this man, by the way.
Oh.
I went out with this man, right? And when I went out with this man, I didn't go out with this man. It was my birthday. I didn't go out
Get
with
it
this
together.
man. It was my birthday. My friends had a table at Penthouse. I pulled up at Penthouse. This guy was there who me and him have. Like, we never had sex, but he always liked me, and he's a cute little
So no
fun guy.
residue.
No residue is in this puss. So then I see him, and I'm like, oh my God, what up? Da, da, da. We hug. We end up going to Mr. Chow's, all of us as a group. We end up going back. Our friend lives at the Ritz-Carlton, the residencies. So we go to the Ritz. And the dude that likes me is there, but he's not my dude, and we've never had sex, and we're not together. And so I end up talking to another guy, and not on a serious tip. This man started getting into like his brother dying. People have this thing, they start getting deep with me. And he was getting into his brother dying and like all of this, showing me pictures of his brother. And you know me, I was like, oh my God, how are you feeling? Like, okay, do you need, like, what's going on? The nigga that likes me was staying there with him. He packed his entire suitcase and was like, bye.
Damn.
And walked out. And I was like, yo, where are you going? He was like, bye. Blocked me for a whole year and a half.
And as he should.
What? I guess I gotta
As he
understand.
should.
Where do y'all get this temerity from? Why do you have so much? Like, help me understand. Help us. Yeah.
What part don't you understand, ma'am? Tell me.
Because if we're
Well,
in a
no.
relationship-
We're
Let
so
Jen
far
talk.
removed. In her situation, they never even slept together, so there's no residue.
It doesn't.
There was no relationship.
It doesn't matter.
But this
If
says
we
a
are there
lot.
together again, and
They
that
were
guy,
not
wait,
together.
listen. The guy who packed his suitcase likes you, yes or no?
Yeah.
All right, so you were a potential girlfriend or whatever. You disqualified yourself by entertaining another man for that long. You disqualified. I just said.
He was already
pause.
disqualified, baby.
He, maybe in your book, but what I'm saying is,
I get it.
I just told y'all a lot of times
I get
women disrespect men and y'all don't even know y'all doing it.
I do get that.
So now I'm really trying to educate women, and y'all keep interrupting me on the things y'all do that we find disrespectful that a lot of men ain't gonna necessarily say. Things that go in that red line category, if it's red line disrespectful, I ain't gonna ever say it. Because that means red line disrespect means something that you did that is of character. I'm not gonna say nothing because that's who you are. A lot of times, a lot of people talk about mistakes happen, mistakes this, mistakes that. Look, after you reach a certain age, it's no longer a mistake, baby. That's just who you are.
Woo!
That is part of your character.
Woo!
And I'm gonna go left until you get right.
Woo! Remember when I used to do that all the time?
Yeah.
That's some shit.
That's
It's
real talk from the sidewalk.
But it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not on purpose, right?
The word
And I
you're looking for is innocuous.
The word of the day. Okay,
that
it is
hurts.
innocuous. And I couldn't live things down that I felt so like in that particular relationship. I was just so taken aback by that because I'm like, bro, you don't have no right to be talking to me. Like, given the stuff that was going on that I won't go into now, but let's just say, like, in my mind, as I got, like, now I understand it, but like, I can understand the plight of someone who's like, are you serious right now? It's like the man who's like cheating on you and then, not to say you should cheat back, but let's say you do cheat back and he can't get over it. Like, men are not as resilient as women. You don't know this in your 20s. I'm sorry, no one does. I don't think anyone actually understands that when you're young. I get it a little bit more now, but it just drove me crazy because in the time I'm like, I forgave you, forgive me.
But that's not.
They know how it works,
Obviously,
baby.
I'm telling y'all,
That's not how it works.
So give me more insight to that because that is crazy. Like, why?
You want more insight into something that happened 20 years ago?
No, in general, because I'm sure someone else is going through the
baby,
same
we
thing.
just already clarified that it ain't gonna change, and you trying to rehash. You trying to go back in time, baby.
really.
You fucked that up. And we done already talked about it, and I done told you about your situation. We can move on from there because it ain't gonna never change. From some men, again, even if they won't say it, even if they stay with you, and in my opinion, a man that stay with a woman who he feels is disrespecting him is a weak man. And you deserve everything that's coming to you. Because if you a man of power, purpose, and possibility, you're not gonna let no woman derail you or shrink you or diminish your manhood. And if she even looks like she's gonna do that, you gonna go left until she get right.
But what if you didn't mean to do that? And you were genuine and you really
I don't care. If it fall into that
He can't
red
correct you?
If it fall into that red line of things, this is the type of man I am. It depends on what type of man you dealing with. Now and again, I'm a man of power, purpose, and possibility. I know who I am. So when you fall into the red line no-nos, that's attached to your character. I'm not going to say anything because that's just who you are. And I don't want no parts of it. I don't even want you to correct it. If you don't have a visceral... Quick story. One time, when me and my wife, this was probably our year 5 being together. And I ran into my homeboy. We went to school together. We went to high school together. I ran into him at the gym. And then we was going to meal prep. I was like, I'm going to live around the corner. So he came to my house and we was kicking and catching up. This is before or right around when Facebook got cracking. So again, now you can leave high school. You never leave the person. Y'all always see each other. Back then when you left, you like, oh man, I ain't seen you in a long time. So we chopping it up. He at my house. My wife walk in, well, my girl, she my girl at the time. I think we about 5 years in. She come walking in, boom. And then she sees us in the living room and then she look. And then she go in the room, close the door fast. And before I can even introduce her, she looked and just went in the room, boom. And I'm like, and then he looking like, I thought he was looking like, damn, that's rude. And I was about to be like, I don't know why, that ain't even how she is. I don't know why she just did that. But before I could do that, she opened up the door and was like, honey, can you come here for a minute? And then I was like, all right. I went in the room. My wife was like, you know him? And I was like, yeah. I was like, we went to high school together. And I was like, what's going on? She was like, yeah, he tried to talk to me before. And I was like, oh, for real? She was like, yeah, it was a long time ago, but he tried to talk to me before. And I was like, yeah, I talked. She was like, gave me the look like, do you think we talked? And I was like, all right. And then by the time I got back, went back in the living room, he was like, yeah, that's your girl. He was like, yeah. He was like, I tried to talk to her before. And I was like, oh, yeah, for real? And he was like, yeah. He was like, my homeboy was talking to her homegirl. So it was like a double date. She brought her for me. And I was like, what happened? I'm asking him because she done gave me the juice a little bit. I said, so what happened? He was like, well, you know, my homeboy girl pulled up. She pulled up with her. And when your girl saw me, she said, ugh. And I was like, and what happened? I'm like, and he was like, she just said, ugh. And we never talked. And I was like, there goes my baby.
You know what
girl, look at, I want somebody mean.
You know what I love?
If you don't have the propensity to keep these niggas out your face and don't be entertaining niggas, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. So if you are friendly, and I like you being friendly and all that, but I'm not dating you. So you being friendly don't affect me. But if we was dating, you wouldn't get past go. Not if you are helping somebody with their zodiac signs and sitting there tracing their palms and all that. I'm not doing that
but
with
I
you.
do get it. But this is what I want to say to Jen and just make a moment right now. So I've heard you tell that story. Jen, you're his best friend, so I know you heard him tell that story a million times, right? So I love how attentive you were to him when he was telling that story, right? Because another thing that this guy that I was dating, he had told me, like, he would tell me stories multiple times, right? And I'm impatient, and sometimes I don't want to keep hearing shit. So, like, I would be like, oh, yeah, babe, you told me that. And I would cut him off, and I'd be like, babe, you said that. Oh, yeah, you said that. And then he'll be like, damn. And I remember one time we were driving, and he was like, babe, I know you don't mean this on purpose because, again, I know you're genuine and you're loving. And if you weren't, I would probably have been snapped. But I don't snap because I know you mean it from a good place. He was like, but I'm just telling you this because if it's not me and you're doing this to other people, it's rude as fuck. Like, let people talk and say their story again. Like, just do that.
That guy had your back because it is rude to do that. Now watch this. Jen, how many times has she told the same story over and over again and we never say nothing? We let her tell it. All the time. What you just accused that guy doing, you do all the time. But we have the propensity
That's what I'm saying.
and have the etiquette not to cut you off.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you do it all the time too.
I know, I'm sure I do.
So we just sit there and let you tell it all over and over
I'm
again.
telling you.
And engage and just be like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
We be
telling
like,
you.
really?
I love that. It
Who?
was, yeah.
You met him where?
ooh.
With who?
And she said,
With
what?
Don't tell if you
Pass the test.
if you tell me he had on red jeans, right? How did I know that?
Snaps.
How did I know that? How did I
knew it, and that's why I made it a point.
She did
because
look over at me like, and I was like,
I made it a point because I was watching her and I was like, wow, I love this because that's what I was working on. And then it's funny because when he checked me on it, I worked on it and I never did it with him. And he was like, babe, you do, he even acknowledged like, babe, you doing a good job. Like this is, and I was like, see, I'm good. Like,
I also have learned not to take an offense when my man tells me to do something, whether I kind of agree with it or not. And I was going to ask kind of like your opinion on this too. Like as a man, I saw this video actually a long time ago where the woman was like, I never correct my man ever. Like if I have to correct him, why is he leading me? And I was like, okay, there's a level of correcting. I guess there's a way. Obviously, I know you're going to say time and tonality because that is huge. But
agree
I also
with me
feel
in public,
like
correct me in private.
I would never. That's rule number one. Obviously, never do that in private. Don't check your man in private. Don't emasculate him. Don't tell him nothing. In public, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I'm also like, I don't know. I kind of feel two ways about that narrative, right? Because I in my current relationship, I'm just more patient. And the patience bleeds into other areas where I don't feel like I have to necessarily say something about everything. Like have to be overly opinionated about everything. So in my current relationship, even if, again, if he's telling me the same story or says something to me that he already says, or like maybe he'll be like, oh, babe, you were supposed to da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay. Like I just don't have to like react. And I don't want to necessarily, I wonder if there's a balance to that where he's like, if he asks my opinion, I give it. If he's like, hey, babe, what do you think about blah, 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 I wanted to do this, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, I trust your judgment.
Must be the Chanel.
The cat is catting.
You guys got to be kidding me. We film every other week, and y'all all of a sudden.
The cat is catting.
Cat is catting. But go ahead, finish.
I'm just saying.
My eye just was, you didn't see me scratching my eye, but I'm not being as dramatic as her.
They're dying.
For those of you who are not watching and you
everyone
only listening,
on set is
we're
dying
having
because I
an
have a
allergic
cat.
reaction to Jen's cat. For those of you not watching.
And I don't like cats. They're spies for the government and they're creeps. So let's
not
keep
spies for the government.
Right, that's a little deep.
But go ahead, Jen.
No, I guess I'm trying to understand, not trying to understand, but I think for me personally, like I take to heart not wanting to emasculate or make my man feel like he's being challenged. But so again, obviously, if he asks for my opinion, I give it. If he's like, hey, babe, how you feel about something? And even he will tell me like, hey, have boundaries, like whatever. And I do have them, but I want to be so feminine. I wonder if I'm like overly spilling over with the feminine where I'm just like a softie and I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, like what is the good balance?
Man, fuck these niggas for real. No, I'm just kidding.
Am I making sense?
I'm waiting on a question.
That is
She's
the
saying,
question.
am I being over feminine? I get it. Am I being too feminine to a fault?
Or I have no backbone.
Like at this
Does it
point,
seem like I have no backbone?
I've done that.
Or am I doing
You don't have a back because of what? What made, like I got lost in the sauce.
because you were itching your ear?
Yeah, but I heard everything you said.
I guess I'm asking
More
for
like
a
a
metric
prepositional
system
phrase.
in your opinion, how much is feminine and how much is like no?
When it comes to what though?
What do you mean?
I think
Correcting
that
your man? I said
Correcting your okay.
I think you're confusing femininity and like boundaries.
No,
And
I
think-
have boundaries.
Yeah, but I feel like you're saying like I'm too soft, I'm too this, but it's like if your boundaries are in place.
But when you say correcting him like how? What is, I mean that
well, she
that's
used
a vast that.
Well,
is-
she used the situation with saying, babe, you already told me that story. And not just saying that, just listen to the story again. And not
But that's
I don't
different
think
'cause I'm
that
cutting
fall
him
in it,
off.
but yeah,
Yeah.
that don't really fall in the category of correcting him or not correcting him. When you say correct him, I think course of action.
Now, do you think this is okay? My ex,
So-
we both had a different opinion on the vaccine. And he told me one day while we're sitting there, like, I didn't believe in being vaccinated. He did. And he was like, let me tell you something. When we're out in public, you don't talk about how you don't believe in being vaccinated. Period. I talk about what I believe in, and you just say nothing. Because we need to have a united front.
Well, you guys do need to
And I
have
said, okay.
a united front. I definitely, you never, especially when y'all together as a man, you don't want to go outside and let the world know that your house is divided, because then that exposes your weakness. You don't want to show a kink in your armor, and your woman is a part of your armor, and your man is also a part of your armor. So in that regard, depending on how he said it, again, timing and tonality is important. It ain't just about the message, it's how you deliver it and when you deliver it that's just as impactful as what you about to say. So keep that in mind before you open your mouth and address anyone about anything. So if he did it with love, tender, and care, then he was 100% correct.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, given the environment, me and my wife had the same stance on that. But if we didn't, let's say we was all having a debate, then yeah, my wife can express freely how she feel, even if she don't feel how I feel, because she got her own brain, and that's okay.
But he said no to that.
Was it like just a
We never had a debate
Wait,
about
listen.
it.
So this is what I'm saying. If it was in a context of like we just all sitting around a bunch of friends and we just talking and like, yo, what you think about this? What you think about that? I don't mind her saying how she feel. But if it's just like a one-off, like don't chime in and say that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But he
To
was even
overtly
saying
disagree
in the
with
debate-
you.
Yeah, to overtly
Yeah.
disagree, and it's
Is
just a
one thing.
one-off conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that. But if it was in the context of like we all talking and like building and having an intellectual conversation about whatever, then yeah, I am the type of man. I love the fact that my wife is intelligent.
See?
She's so intelligent that she's quiet. She's so intelligent she don't talk.
Yeah.
I love
That's
that.
a silent assassin, because you don't even know what's going on in her mind.
I love that.
You don't even know. You don't even know if she looking at you and studying you to come back and tell me everything she need to tell me about your ass.
Hello.
You know what's funny? I was in a situation with a guy, and he was having a debate with my family. And I never stepped in and never, like, he was going, and I never told him, like, stop talking to my family, like, it's getting heated, whatever. And I let him talk, and I didn't say anything. And I just texted him and said, babe, I think you should let it go, because this is my family. It's getting weird.
Right.
But I never was like, hey, babe, like, I never said it in front of my
you
family.
You did that right. So women always be like, men have egos. Oh, everybody has an ego.
Exactly.
And the greater the man, the greater the ego. Matter of fact, you can't have a great man if he don't have a great ego too. Because his ego was going to give him the tenacity and temerity to go out and snatch everything he wants from the world and come back and share it with you. He has to have that. So you cannot shrink, deflate, derail, or debunk his ego or his identity of himself. What you can do is course correct through your divine femininity.
Okay.
If you don't like his plan, you don't have to tell him you don't like his plan. You can ask questions that will impose the cracks in his plan to himself.
That's
you just ask
smart.
questions.
Yeah.
And then he'll go, ooh.
That's
And then if he really respects you because you got a brain, he gonna come to you anyway with the
Right.
plan.
I think
And
that's
then
what
when
I
he
meant.
come to you, now you can interject.
That's
I
what I
love
meant.
when a
I
man
meant the
comes to me.
day to day. I meant like the nuances of interacting in a relationship was what I was more so referring to. I still love where that conversation went.
Then
I
I
think
think you
that's
did it
important,
right
too.
because I'm my wife don't bother me about nothing much. But I know I'm far from perfect, but she, again, her power is in her silence.
Does anyone have any last minute?
Well,
points?
can
We're
you
about
should
to
you
wrap it
correct
up
a
in
man
minute.
in
We have
any
3
way?
minutes.
How can you do that and be feminine, and how could you not be a pushover by not correcting?
Again, timing and tonality. And yes, you can address your man. You can't correct anyone, let alone correct the man. You can
Okay,
address the
fair.
issue and present a solution and allow him to choose to either, here's the solution, and allow him to choose what he want to do. But you can't correct him.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I said it before. If your man don't wear diapers, you can't change him.
Okay.
My mom
Any
loved
finish
that, by
point?
the way.
Any final
I told her that.
points?
She was like, that's amazing. What does he mean by that? I'm like, Mom, a diaper, you can change? Like,
Well,
what's confusing about that?
She probably
She's-
understand the analogy. That's fine.
okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry that we had to cut this episode a little short, but
Your hair is nice, Azar.
It's very pretty.
The bob is bobbing.
The bob is bobbing.
thank
Bam.
you guys so much.
Bam. Bam. Strange. Give it face. Motto-esque. Squinty eyes. Mirror look. Tile.
Towel.
Penthouse. Toca Madera. Le Lavo. Woo, she's ready. She got her new do, y'all. She's ready for her birthday.
Yes.
Azar's birthday is coming up, so everybody wish her happy birthday. And
It's
even if
Ho
this
Day,
episode drops
003.
after and you hear this episode, go back to her page and you wish her happy birthday anyway.
Yes.
Anyways, love you guys so much. I'm turning 33. It's Jesus year. Love
Damn.
you guys.
The year of our Lord.
The year, 2004.
You ain't even saying it right.
Right.
If you gonna jack my swag, at least say it right.
Okay, love you guys so much. Fuck with you the long way. Peace, happiness,
And never the wrong way.
and never the wrong way.
Bye.
Get into it. And to whoever said I look like Benzino, fuck y'all.
Ooh.
That's wow, Benzino. All right, guys, that is it. We have ran out of time. But if you like what you heard or disagree with what you heard today, please let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the UAF Podcast, and also like and subscribe to our YouTube, the UAF Podcast. Again, we always read your comments and we always respect your perspective. Thank you for tuning in. This is the UAF crew, and as always, we are not sorry.